Hello, party people!
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to our channel.
We have the Jeffrey Sokol, as Joey TCAP wrote. Jeffrey Sokol police interrogation here, as requested
By multiple.
by viewers like you.
Yes.
Two in particular.
That's considered multiple.
Two's a lot, man.
It is.
And
For our growing channel, it is.
And I want to say thanks to everyone for watching and supporting us, man. Everyone's been very positive and friendly, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're having a lot of fun doing this.
We appreciate it, and it just motivates us to bring out more content and have you viewers let us know what you think. And any recommendations are also very open. So.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, we tried this a previous time, and we found that the audio is a little bit low.
Yeah.
And we thought it might be a little bit boring and long to do a commentary on. However, since you guys like it, it must mean that it's good. So we'll watch all the way through, and we'll do some commentary, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, to make sure that our viewers are still involved in everything, because we understand the human attention span is only so long, we'll probably do it in...
Yeah, I think we'll need to split this up two or three times.
Or so, 2 or 3 parts. So, yeah, let's tune in.
Okay. I feel like we should be able to skip some of this, but I'm not sure. Because this is him, like, filling out his shit. Like, I don't know if that really matters. What do you think?
Is yours mine?
Well,
Yes.
if it's not very relevant and if you can't really hear it, then we can skip.
No, nothing. Thank you, sir. No, it's not. It's good. Corn and cool.
Yeah, let's watch it. It looks interesting.
Okay.
What do you think? Okay. First thing I need to know, Detective Kelly, obviously you're the Fairfield Connecticut Police. Just get over your rights with you. You want to speak with me about what happened tonight? Okay.
So he said I do. He waived his rights of silence. And I like how they have the little toilet paper here in case he starts crying.
And just in case he gets a little emotional, yeah.
It's a low blow, man. They couldn't even give him tissues or something. So
As we can look, his body language is very closed off. The crossed arms.
Aggressive. Or defensive, I guess.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, closed
Just
off.
closed off behavior, not very open to...
He looks pissed, really, and disappointed.
Although the quality isn't great,
No.
it would be nicer if we saw it like in
I just want
HD.
you to you can read your own rights, and if you understand them, just initial it. Then we're going to go down here to court and do the same kind of thing. Okay? So you have the right to remain silent, you understand that? If I talk to any police
He's
officer,
left-handed.
say can be used against me.
I guess so, yeah.
It's like some of us.
Yeah, I guess you have a lot in common.
Something in common with Jeffrey.
You and Jeff are almost the same person. So it's 10:30. So
October 3rd.
I think he
2015.
arrives at her house at about 8 or 8:30 or something like that. Because I remember he starts driving from Boston at like 5 or 6. I can't remember. So man, this sucks. Like it's like a Friday night or maybe even a Saturday night. I can't remember.
Well, we could essentially look up the date and time, but...
Yeah, we can actually. There's nothing going on here, anyways.
October 3rd, 2015.
Do this freely and voluntarily, and no threats or promises ever made to me. You understand those rights?
Syrian civil war. A lot going on here. So I
Saturday.
see Jeff Sokol isn't on here. What's up with that? I mean, if we're gonna put on, events like the Syrian civil war and the war in Afghanistan, a hurricane, Joaquin, then I think we
He
should.
should be in there too.
Like
right?
the Rugby World Cup, like I guarantee Jeff Sokol has more viewers than the Rugby World Cup. You know what I mean? Like, but anyways, Saturday night, he came for sex. Instead, he got a pizza. He got fucked by Hanson. He got arrested, and he got put on national television.
So not much going.
And now it's 10:30. He's 2.5 hours from home, and he's getting interrogated by this fucking guy.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
I think it's a slow burn. I think this one kind of starts slow, but
Yeah.
I'm not afraid. You know, we can sit through
What's
it.
your address again?
1064 on Beacon Street.
It's his address.
Brookline?
Yeah, Promenade.
.44?
I'm 44.
And where were you born?
In Brookline.
Brooklyn? Is that what he said?
I think that's what he said. So I'm thinking here where it says 7 minutes, that's where the actual interrogation begins, and this is just kind of rights.
Yes.
Um,
This younger girl.
Okay.
yeah, I was just looking to meet her, and I know you're not going to believe me, but I honestly was not planning on having sex with her.
Okay.
I know the texts talk about that, but it's talk. I mean, I wasn't planning on having sex with her unless it was bright and legal to do it. I don't know if I would have or not either, but I was not gonna do
What do you mean
it.
by right and legal to do?
No, I mean, if I, she seemed like
Yeah,
somebody.
before he goes into this
you
shit,
know,
she
that-
seemed like... That's the same thing he said to Chris Hansen. I wouldn't have sex with her unless it's legal. And it's something you and I commented on in the video where we were like, it doesn't matter if it's legal or not. You should do things that are morally correct, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
I think that he had a chance to think through his bullshit because it's been a couple hours since the Hansen interview.
And it's still the same answer.
It's still the same answer, but he added the caveat of unless it's right and legal. And by right, I think that he's so morally corrupt and devoid of
So when he says that, he means like, if she was up to it, he would also be open to it, or what does it mean?
I think
it's right?
I think he means unless it's morally
Morally
correct.
correct?
I think that's what he's trying to say. And
But what? But in what world would it be morally correct?
no, it wouldn't be in any world. And I think his cop out here is that you're not in my head, so you don't know exactly what I was gonna do, and I only would have done something that's correct now. Everything that he's shown and done just kind of contradicts that, and I think cop here is probably gonna nail him on it. But his
Logic.
his logic is defiance. He's gonna defy and he's gonna fight back, and okay, that's gonna make for a better video. But he's not taking any responsibility,
No.
and he's kind of an asshole. But let's see how it goes.
was mature and somebody that that would be fun to hang out with. And so I
Fun
wanted
to
to
hang
meet her and find out if she was what I thought she was.
What does that even mean?
So
Right.
how long had you been corresponding with her?
Like 3 weeks
And how did you meet her?
on a chat site,
What was that called?
Wire Club.
Wire Club? Is that?
Wire Club, man.
Uh,
I have no fucking clue what this shit is, man. Like, I've heard it before. I have no clue. Free online
Free
chat
online
rooms.
chat?
I can't imagine.
Is that supposed to be like
I think it's just an online chat room. Like, I can't imagine that, like, I can't imagine you can find someone like a romantic partner on this. Like, I don't believe that that's possible. You know what I mean? Like, why would someone go on here? Like, I don't see who, like, that's young would go on to Wire Club to chat when you have, if you're looking to, like, meet someone, you got Tinder and Bumble and all this shit. I can't believe that someone's coming on to Wire Club. And so that's what I mean. Like, when these guys get caught on this shit, like, how did you even believe that there's a real life, like, girl on the other end? Like, it just doesn't seem possible to me, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I don't see how these guys can go
Finding
on here.
a significant other on this free online chat
I just
room.
I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe that you could see someone on here that's 13. Why would a 13-year-old ever go on one of these sites?
And also,
like,
people lie, and like
people
you
lie all the
don't
time.
know who is behind the screen.
You're bound to show up either like in front of Hanson or getting your ass kicked by those predator poachers, or talking to a guy that's like in his 50s pretending to be a child and trying to get your cock pics. Like, that's the best you can do.
No, like really not good.
So yeah, I mean, if you're out there, don't try to get laid here. It's not gonna work out.
Not worth it.
Kind of a hookup site or
Well,
something?
it's challenge, but I mean, I don't know if it's a hookup site because there's people there that are all over the
Have
world.
you talked to people before, girls, guys, or
Yeah.
on that particular site?
Yeah.
Have you talked to younger girls before today, or in the last couple weeks, rather?
No, not that I know of.
It's an annoying answer.
Not that I
In
know
this
of.
particular girl. Let me back up a second. Are you married?
No.
Have you been married?
Yeah.
Divorced?
Yeah.
How long?
Like
10 years
10,
or more?
11 years, yeah.
That's interesting. 10, 11 years. So he's 44.
Married or divorced?
Divorced 10, 11 years ago. So he's 44. That means he got divorced when he's 33, which I think is actually relatively typical. I think they say average marriages last around 5 to 7 years. So probably got married like in his late 20s. And
Mid to late 20s, yeah.
mid to late 20s, and she pulled the rug out under him, and he was just left as a fucking chubby mid 30s guy with nothing to offer. So
Literally nothing to offer.
I can imagine that she left him.
Yeah.
I can imagine
mean,
that she left him.
safe
And
to say, yeah.
I don't know what the actual story behind it is. I don't know. I'm sure these TCAP has found some shit out. But I can imagine she left him. And if I had to guess, she's probably doing fine, and he's on, Hanson vs. Predators. So,
Not the greatest outcome.
no matter what she's doing, she's better off than this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for sure.
Any kids?
No.
What was the reason for the dissolution of the marriage? Any major issue with the ex-wife?
No,
Or she with you?
No, it was just a mutual breakup.
And how about dating and things since then? Do you have relationships? Have you had any recently?
So he just says it's mutual,
Yeah.
which leads him to believe she left him because she's a piece of shit. I think that's what that means. It's mutual. Like, she left me because I'm garbage. Is that?
That's a fair conclusion to make.
Yeah, I mean, a few here and there. Yeah.
What was the last one?
I mean, I had a short one over the summer, a couple months.
How old was she?
41.
The adult woman.
Yeah.
Have you, met or chatted with or visited younger girls before?
Younger, yes, but I mean,
What's your, well, I don't know, younger than me is probably in the middle 20s from my standpoint, I'm a little bit older than you, but what's younger to you?
I mean, yeah, I've dated girls in their 30s and 20s.
What girl in her 20s would want to be with this guy? Like, why would you want to be with this guy?
Zero. It sounds like a stretch.
I think it's a stretch, yeah.
Unless you're super, super desperate, and maybe you're still like
But look at this guy.
never kissed a guy, never hung out with a guy, maybe.
Here's the thing, though.
But-
If you're in your 40s and you have, like, this crazy career and you could give girls a lot of shit, like, you could take them, on trips and expensive cars and shit, I can see why it would be interesting for her to be with you. But this guy's making shit money. He's out of shape, he's ugly, and he's an asshole,
He
like,
is, but then you also
the
put it
fuck?
into the perspective of like, you're 20-something years old. You've never been with anyone. At that point, you're just kind of like, I'm open to anything.
So you just think, like, virgins and shit are with
Yeah,
this
maybe.
guy? Fuck,
I mean,
man.
hey, you take what you can get at that point. I don't know.
That is a fucking sad way to go, man.
This wasn't, I'm
Someone asked you, like, who'd you lose your virginity to? Oh, well, he was on TV for trying to molest a child.
Yeah, his name's Jeffrey Sokol. Do you know him?
I'm sure you know, because his video has 70 million views.
sure the first time you met a girl who was reportedly 12 or so years old, right?
What would you say?
I said, I'm sure this isn't the first time you either chatted with or met with a girl who was supposedly 12 years old.
I believe it was the first time that I know of.
It was? Is that what you're saying? It was the first time? I mean, I don't know. You may have an issue or a certain fetish or attraction to younger girls. You probably do.
Yeah, I've never gone to meet a girl that was a teenager.
Never. And why tonight? Just.
Do you believe him?
No.
No.
He's very shady.
So you think he has tried? I mean, he's
Yeah.
saying he's never gone to meet a younger girl.
Yeah.
You think he's
but
ever tried?
Yeah, I think he has. I mean, it can't be the first time.
I don't think so either.
He doesn't come off as someone who has just experienced that in this one moment. Maybe he didn't get to the point where he was meeting them, but I'd
think he tried
assume
it?
he's trying, yeah.
Because he's been single for 10, 11 years. It's not like... If he was just, like, divorced a year ago, then I'd say maybe, he's, like, getting back in the game, doesn't know what he's doing, but he's been single for a long, long
For
time.
a hot minute. For a hot minute.
Which would mean that in the last 11 years, he's probably been trying a lot of shit. So he's probably talked to younger girls at some point.
Saturday night, it's got it from basically the Boston area.
Boston.
I just had nothing to do. I figured we'd just hang out, and I was just gonna drive home later tonight.
No one believes that. Like, no one believes you drove 2.5 hours to a girl that's home alone to just hang out. Like, that's not possible.
Zero chance.
It's not possible. Like,
Zero
no one's ever
chance.
done that in history. It's not possible.
No.
You talked, I know in the text there was like some mention of like a marriage kind. I don't know if it's a religious thing or something else, but what's the deal with the marriage certificate? What was that whole conversation?
All right.
Yeah, or a marriage agreement or a contract you talked about.
They harp on this a lot. Like, he didn't really talk about it that much in the chat log, if you remember. He talked about it here and there.
He did bring it up, though.
He did. He didn't bring it with him or anything, so I don't know.
But I think it's solid enough to just bring it up.
No, he should bring it up. Like, he's an investigator. He should bring up everything he can. But I mean, like Chris Hanson harped on it a lot more.
Really
than
harped on it, yeah.
Relevant.
I know it was joking at one time when I said, "Is it in the contract?" I was joking.
You mentioned of like bringing some type. Maybe it was in jest, but you mentioned bringing some type of marriage contract or something like that.
No, no. Bringing something? No.
Did you mention having her sign it, or you signing it, or both of you signing it? I mean, I can go get the paperwork. Unfortunately an inch thick, but there's some conversation about that. I just want to know.
Yeah, there was conversation. There was conversation about that. I was just explaining to her that people could get married by just signing a contract.
I find this interesting. He's like, I can go get the documentation. This guy, like, he doesn't even have the screenshots in front of him. Like, what? That's such bad preparation.
But there's also no reason as to why he should be explaining that to someone just randomly in conversation, that you can just sign the contract and be married to them. Like,
I mean, yeah, no, of course. Like,
especially to someone who is of that age. Like, what is he implying?
Well, that he wants to marry, of course.
There you go. So
I just mean, how the fuck does this investigator not have the chat log in front of him? Like, that's crazy.
Signing, marriage documents.
But if you're talking about a 12-year-old girl, right? It's kind of.
Yeah.
I think you could probably even
14, but yeah, she said she was 14. But okay.
She was 14?
I know, it's young.
So get
like, that makes it better.
text.
Like,
I know. Like, who cares?
What age she said she was.
She wasn't 12.
No.
No.
But 14 is that big of a difference anyway?
No, we can verify this. Because I don't know. Let's see if our channel comes out here. There we are. I'm actually going to verify whether she's 13 or 14. Because we have the...
hello, party people!
Looking at our own shit. It's not letting me post the source. I'm going to look at the screenshot.
Uh-huh.
I thought I had the source here, but I didn't. You're the guy from Wire Club. Oh, it's not here. You're really 13. So she's 13. I think
Yeah.
she said that my birthday's coming up or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're both right. But actually, in all honesty, it's just, who gives a fuck? What's the difference?
No difference.
What's the difference to me?
Because neither are illegal, you know that.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter.
The age of consent is 16, which is, you know, in my mind yet too young also, but he thought she might be 14.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So now he finally gets the chat log. Like,
Yeah, after how many
this guy's
minutes?
so unprepared. Man.
12, 13 minutes almost.
How does he not have that in front of him? Like, he should know this thing.
So these are obviously a copy of some of the text between the two of you. This, you said you met her, what, give or take 3 weeks ago?
I think so.
You're talking about, you know, blowjobs and oral sex and
Oh my god.
Oh my god. This is a humiliating situation, man. This right here is humiliating.
Extremely. Well, you can see
man.
by his body language that he's just like, fuck me.
That
like,
is brutal, man. Like, getting caught in this.
so I'm just, you know, tell me what's going on in your life that we even have you, going down this road. Maybe you've always looked like this. I don't know, but it's,
That's a roast.
it's a concern,
What's been going on in
obviously,
your...
It's a good question, though.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
What
Like,
you're looking at,
Seriously.
You're talking about a 12-year-old girl, and in your mind maybe she was 14, but
It's like a nonchalant way of being like, what the fuck has gotten into you
Yeah.
to think that this is okay?
yeah. What went so wrong in your life?
it's certainly illegal and, horrible in most people's eyes. Right?
And then said that, you could probably read that.
And you drive from 2.5 hours away to see this girl.
So problematic. So problematic. And I'm glad he's highlighting these points of like, what brought you to do this? To
Yeah.
think that you can drive X amount to come to see this girl and to think that that is okay.
Yeah.
Like really guilting him into the fact that this is such a problem and that he should feel guilty about it and he should sit in that guilt. Like he deserves to.
And he does look really, like, scared and apprehensive
does.
here.
He
Like,
does.
I think this guy's gonna nail him pretty good. Like, I've seen
Oh
bits
yeah.
and pieces of this.
It's just like coming. Trickling.
Trickling, yeah.
To meet with someone.
But you're right, like, kind of going after the psychological aspects of, like, what led you to do this. Like, I think what he's trying to get at is that this guy has a problem. I think that's what he's trying to say.
And he
like,
wants to show him that, like, to exemplify that it is a problem. Like, you should feel bad about
and
it.
it's
Like,
getting,
it's not
Sokol needs to admit it.
a little thing. Like,
Somebody and just hang out and talk to them.
But you probably, I don't know.
Is it? Is it? Just like hang out with somebody?
is it a problem to just hang out with somebody?
It is after this chat.
It is after the chat. It is considering how old he is and how old the decoy is. Like,
I mean, I think he's asking, is it illegal? Like, obviously it's not illegal.
okay,
like, you're
obviously
allowed
it's
to go
not,
to
but they're not
basketball
neighbors.
practice. Like,
They're not neighbors. They're not
Yeah.
just gonna hang out.
he's
He
a fucking
drove
asshole. Like,
that
he's,
long to that far to see her. Like,
and he talked about fucking her and marrying her. Like, obviously that's not nothing.
and now he's
dude.
pretending like he's playing all like, oh, like, but is it a problem?
Like,
Like,
yeah, he's a fucking asshole.
If I had sex with her, yeah, that would be against the law. But they didn't
Okay,
do
so
that.
let's just take a step back. So let's just say you never got divorced from your wife and you had a daughter. You said it was 10 years ago, right? Give or take, you got divorced. So let's just say as a result of that marriage, you had a daughter or a son who was 10, 12, 13 years old. And it's Friday night and you and your wife, hey honey, whatever your daughter's name is, Caitlin, we're going to run to out to dinner and stay out a little bit late. You can stay at home and you come to find out, they walk in, there's a 44-year-old guy from, 200 miles or 100 and something miles away. Is everybody cool with that? You're cool with that?
Well, obviously, at first, no.
At first?
Yeah, when they first walk in, it's not going to be,
He has no integrity.
No
He
integrity,
has
no
integrity.
remorse. At first, you know.
He has no integrity. He's gonna
The
pretend like he'd be
reason
okay
why-
with that. Like, come on.
The only reason why he's here and he's like feeling like at some point guilty is because he got caught.
Yeah.
But there's no remorse there. There's no thinking about what I actually did.
How do you fucking just like? How do you take this question and answer it like that? It's such a fucking garbage like way to
It
answer
is.
that.
It's whack. Like,
So at first, no, like I get what he's like. I know exactly what he's about to do here, and he's gonna like justify it and shit. Like, dude, if you're fucking in someone's house, like in a 13-year-old girl's house, as a 40-year-old man, and the parents walk in, like people die in those situations. That's
Oh,
not a
yeah.
like.
Oh,
That's not a
it's
shake
not a-
hands and
no.
you know what I mean. Like if your daughter's like 19 and her 20-year-old boyfriend's over, and the parents come home, like
You're done. You're done.
really, if he's 20,
And they're like 15?
I said 19 to 20.
Oh. Okay, no. I thought about like when they're like 13, 14
No,
and
I'm
they're
saying-
20.
I'm
like,
saying
then
if like
that's
the
different.
19-year-old daughter has her 20-year-old boyfriend over and the parents come home,
Okay,
like
okay.
they might be like, all right, you know, like get out of here, you know, you're not supposed to be here without me around, whatever. But you know, you might like shake hands and say hi or something, you know. But like at worst, it's gonna be like you need to leave. At worst, you know. At best, they might just be like, oh, nice to meet this fucking guy finally. This isn't the same though, you know, like because you know we got to take away 6 years from her and add 24 and then you get a really good picture of what the situation is. Like he thinks that the dad would come home and like sit down with him and have a beer and like get to know him. Like no
Hell
fucking way,
no.
dude. Like
Hell
no
no.
fucking way. You'd be leaving without your fucking nutsack, dude. Like
it's not going to be cool. But if it was somebody like me, I don't think there's a threat.
like if it's someone like me, I don't think there's a threat. Like what are you talking about, man? Like
What
that's
does that even mean? Like, is he supposed to look welcoming and caring and like...
I'd rather it be this guy actually.
Yeah,
That's what I walk
actually,
in on than this
if
guy.
anything.
Like yeah, like
But how do they know what your intention is?
I
You're
can't
talking
even
about
believe it.
blowjobs and pics.
Yeah, they don't.
Other issues. You're not talking about maybe some common interest of music or sports, which is also, I mean, the whole thing would be weird. I think just about everybody would think. I think you actually would too. It's unhealthy and strange. A 44-year-old guy, what's he got in touch with, in common with a 12 or 14-year-old girl? And why, if you lived in a big metropolitan area with a 12 or 14-year-old girl? And why, if you lived in a
I fucked this all up. I gotta just go back and re-listen to this section.
music or sports, which is also, I mean, the whole thing would be weird. I think just about everybody would think. I think you actually would too. It's unhealthy and strange.
It's unhealthy and strange. It is unhealthy and strange. It's
It
a
is.
really good way to put it, Mr. Policeman.
A 44-year-old guy, what's he got in touch with, in common with a 12 or 14-year-old girl? And why, if you lived in a big metropolitan area where you drive whatever the distance was, 2 hours away on a Saturday night?
Isn't that all speculation? I mean, it's
What's the speculation? I'm looking at this.
you're speculating that I was going to have sex with her tonight.
Because that's what you said.
What a fucking douchebag. Isn't speculation? Like, he's kind of acting like unless you're in my head and have control of my mind, that you can't infer things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're allowed to make deductions and, like, figure things out. If you read a text that says, hey, I'm coming over to have sex with you, your deduction is, he's coming over to have sex with me. There's
yeah.
no, you know what I mean?
It's not like
Even if on the other end I said that, but I didn't mean it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Like, I
you
can't
said
assume
what
you didn't
you
mean
meant.
it. Yeah,
you
you said
can't
what you
make
meant.
assumptions. Like,
If someone sells you a bag that says there's dog shit in here, you wouldn't open it up and start eating it and saying,
Yeah.
well, there might be goldfish in there. You know, there's dog shit in there because it says it's dog shit, right?
yeah, I
you,
like goldfish. Don't roast a goldfish.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what I was doing.
You didn't say that.
You didn't say that. Well, tell me what you said.
Well, we talked about having sex, but that doesn't mean.
Isn't that strange?
That doesn't mean I was going to. Tonight.
Well, yeah, tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week.
Maybe when she's 16.
So where's that in the conversation?
Maybe when she's 16.
Maybe.
He's like, yeah, whatever. I'll just have sex with her in 3 years. Like, that's still way too young for you.
It is. And
What the
he's
fuck?
gonna be X amount of years older, and it's
This
just
guy has
not
absolutely zero.
zero remorse,
Zero
zero
remorse, like-
acknowledgement or responsibility of what's happening.
He is just a
like,
scum, man. Like,
Oh, it might be.
Did you mention that?
No, it might be.
You did.
It might be in there. I mean, I mentioned that I was looking. I looked into like the laws and stuff about minors. I was looking into those.
Why would you do that?
Why was he doing that? That is so wrong
Yeah.
and inappropriate. And
no
he's
good.
just talking nonchalantly like it's normal.
No, it's absolutely no good.
No, because I was going to meet a minor. And, to hang out with them.
So you knew there was an issue.
There's
Otherwise, you wouldn't research it.
Yeah, but there's an issue if you do this and this and this. But because, and this is just, I was looking, I was just like looking down the road, like let's say I did like her.
He was looking down the road. What the fuck does that mean?
It means he wants a long-term relationship with a 13-year-old girl.
Down the line, I was just looking
Down
like.
the line.
And she like me, why not? I mean,
But this is somebody you've never met before.
I know. I was just thinking out loud, looking at the big picture. That's all. Doesn't mean
What is the big picture though? What is he talking about right now?
Well, they're gonna have a romantic courtship, as Hanson nicely put it, and her parents are gonna be really cool with it.
Oh yeah,
and,
they're gonna be so proud and happy and
the wedding's gonna be so chill when
Oh,
she's
yeah.
18 and he's
70.
49.
Like bye.
And, yeah, it's gonna be great.
going to like do what I was going, what I was.
Is that like your, lack of a better description, like your cup of tea, like you want some very young girlfriend or bride? Is that like some fantasy you have? Which is fine if that's what your fantasy is. I
The
just
fuck
wanna
is
know where
this?
you're coming
Get out of
from.
here.
I took a liking particularly to her, and she happened to be
This is through all like, chatting or texting, right?
exactly
Somebody you never even met.
correct.
So for the sake of talking, it could have been, it wasn't, but it could have been me posing as this girl. You wouldn't know who you're talking
Could have
about.
been, yeah, could have been.
It's not like you saw her or spent time with her.
Well, that's why I came now, is to see if I have a connection with her. If you, what was your name again?
It's Detective Kelly.
Detective Kelly.
If if you read all the text, I don't know if you read all
I did not, and I probably can't digest them all right now,
Sure.
but I'm starting to try to look here.
I'm sure.
Why didn't he read it all? Wouldn't you read it all? Like you and I did, just for fun. So why wouldn't he do it for his job? I would read it.
Maybe
if I
he
was him.
didn't have enough time.
I mean, come on, it takes you an hour.
But if you read a lot,
How long did it take us to do it?
We sat around, talked shit, and drank wine like it's different. Like, it's good. We just have to fucking read
You're
through
right.
it and get over it. Like,
But from the time that he got arrested to the time that he's here and being interrogated.
well, I think you could have these fucking child logs from a long time ago.
Okay,
man.
but maybe the officer had other work to do prior.
Oh my god.
all of it,
Fucking.
You gotta be mindful of the other
I have to be mindful.
situations occurring around. I mean, you might be right, but then we also have to look at the second.
You're right. He didn't have.
Perspective
He didn't
of-
have 37 minutes to read it. Yeah.
the exchanges between me and her, I was always aware and
Maybe he was taking notes.
scared of any
Yeah, I bet.
consequences if I was to do something wrong, like if I was to have sex with her. And to be honest, yeah, of course, like from what I saw, she's, beautiful and everything, but I was not going to risk anything by having sex with her. I just wanted to meet her and hang out with her. And I was like,
He's acting like he hasn't already risked something
Right.
by talking to her and by coming over and bringing pizza. And what else did he bring?
Or orange juice, just enough for him.
Right. A
He was gonna drink,
little bottle of orange juice, right?
Because he's a fucking loser. He was gonna drink her mom's vodka because he didn't pick up
Oh
a bottle
right,
of
'cause he's
vodka on the
a
way
fucking
there.
piece of shit.
Fucking loser. Also, he's like, I wasn't gonna risk anything when he was talking about like having sex with her.
But
It's like,
you
aren't you-
already did.
You got out of your car and walked into a young girl's house who's home alone. That means
A
that all the neighbors
child.
could have seen you. It means that like the police might be around the corner. It means that like anything could be happening. So he's like, I wasn't gonna risk anything. Clearly you were, because you already did. You made a very
Exactly.
big risk.
Exactly.
Therefore, you were going to risk it all. Like, you're not going to risk 60% of it. You're going to go all the way, man. Come on.
Exactly.
You're gonna meet her, hang out
I
with her.
can't trust I can't trust anybody. Obviously now, even more so. But
How do you think we and she feel?
well, see, I get it. I get it. You know, you guys.
We're trying to protect the innocent and the vulnerable, right?
Yeah, but
Just like when you were that age and I was that age, you wouldn't want some guy, attacking you.
He's dangerous. Yeah, of course not.
Or maybe he just has bad intentions. When you were 12 or 14 years old, if there was some guy in your life, or appeared in your life, who's in his 40s, and is talking about having sex with you and different things, isn't it your parents and the police and the school system's job to kind of protect you from that person? And sometimes if you're not being like totally honest with your parents or community people, we're the only alternative sometimes we have is to do like sting type operations like this.
Good point. Good point, Detective Kelly. And he's right. He's right. Because at the end of the day, if you're a child, the children around you can't protect you. Like, if there's 3 12-year-old girls, like, they're not any stronger than one 12-year-old girl, right? So
Yeah.
they need systems in place. And he's right. The parents, police, school, like, they're all responsible for taking care of these kids. And you can't wait until it happens. You have to try to prevent it ahead of time to
Exactly.
reduce victims. Because
Exactly.
you can't,
I mean, imagine every scenario you waited
Yeah.
until the end, right? Like, there has to be some red flags. There has to be some, things put in place to avoid these things
That's right. Yeah. You got to try to stop it.
before it gets to a point where it can't be stopped.
Because this, at the moment, is a victimless crime. Like, no one got hurt here, right? Like, there's a criminal, but there's no victim, And if he was set free, eventually there would have been a victim. There would have been a victim eventually, because no one would ever
That's
date
just
this
how
guy.
it is. That's
No one
just
would
how
ever
it
date this
goes.
guy. He'd stay single forever, because he's 44. He's clearly learned 0 lessons from his life because he's still an asshole. And so eventually he would have kept trying, and either he would have gotten caught and went to prison, or he would have hurt somebody. And,
Yeah.
and that's it. There's no
Yeah.
other.
There's no in
No
between.
other option.
No.
Would never catch anybody. Because you're not going to tell anybody. You're so paranoid about it, you're researching the statutes. Because you know it's wrong. Right?
Right. And
And I'm sure in here there's probably conversations with
And then
a
what?
girl about, you didn't tell anybody about this, right? Or something like that, because you're afraid of and you didn't go when the parents were home. If it's wonderful, then
That's right.
yeah, if your
That's
parents
right,
are home,
Kelly.
that's great. I'd love to meet them. No, your parents aren't home, right?
That's right, Kelly.
They're away, they're not coming home, whatever.
That's exactly right, man. If this shit was okay, he wouldn't be coming on the Saturday night that her mom was away.
Yeah.
If the shit was okay, he would have came next weekend to meet her mom and to sit and have dinner and shit. Like, not like this. But it's not okay, and that's why he came when no adults are around to fucking stop you.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yes.
And I think this probably goes back a long time. This did not happen overnight. I'm a little bit older than you, and whatever my, makeup is, physiologically and emotionally and every other way, it didn't start last week.
So do you think he actually has a problem, like an actual pedophilic problem, or do you think
Yes.
he's just an opportunist?
I think he has a problem.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think he has like
I
an
don't
affliction
think
towards
that
children?
I don't think that anyone with the right mind would open up themselves and say, "Oh, I have an opportunity to hang out with a 14, right? 14 or 13?
13.
13-year-old girl." Like, that looks like an act of pedophilia rather than an act of opportunity, because there's a goal in the end. Like, he displayed himself in a way that shows his true character,
Yeah.
even though he's trying to be like, "Oh, but I didn't do anything. Oh, but I just wanted to hang." Like, we all know the outcome of what he wanted, and if there was an opportunity to do so, he would have done it.
I personally think he's just an opportunist. Like, I think that he's just like moralist. I think he'd have sex with anybody, Like, I don't think that he'd stop at age. I don't think he'd stop if a girl's married. I don't think he'd stop if she was like his friend's ex-girlfriend or something. I don't think that he has any kind of like boundaries or morals surrounding
But
sex.
I don't think that having an opportunity would mean being with someone who is underage.
No,
Like that's
no,
not really an opportunity.
Not for
That
most
is
people.
being
Not for most people.
that is beyond an opportunity and more of like a okay, it's not to say that if he had the opportunity to hook up with someone who was late 20, 30s, whatever, he wouldn't take it. But it's the fact that he stoops that low and says to himself that that's okay or
Yeah.
talks about marriage, that is a problem.
Yeah, so he
At
clearly
least that's the way that I view it.
He clearly has a lack of judgment and doesn't know how to think about things properly. I don't see him as the guy that is like looking for kids or looking up child porn online.
Okay,
Like I don't think
maybe
it's
not,
that.
but we also don't know that.
I just genuinely think he has absolutely no morals and he'd have sex with anyone like just to get it, you know. Like I think he's an absolutely like desperate cunt that would just take anything he can get, like even if it's completely fucking wrong, you know.
Fair.
So you probably had these fantasies, desires,
And that's what Kelly's getting at now. Like, do you have these fantasies? Have you always had these fantasies? And like, let's find out.
interests probably your whole life, actually. Or until you became an adolescent or something.
Fantasies about what? What do you mean?
I'm assuming younger women. And maybe as you got older, like you wanted to stay in that realm, like the younger girls, I like them better for whatever reason. You would have to tell me what the attraction is.
It's never happened before. Never.
But we're talking like 12 years old.
Yeah.
It's like 6th, 7th grade.
I think she was in grade 8 or
You know
9.
what I mean? It's
I think she was in grade 8.
Everybody keeps saying 12.
Well, you want me to use your term and say 14?
I mean, I know they're both young, but it's a little bit, different.
Is it?
So D. Kelly here is actually wrong. She's not 12. She's 13, turning 14. So point
Grade 8.
point 1 for Jeff Sokol and point 90 or 91 for D. Kelly here.
Is it being a teenager? Is that the big hump that you need to hear? Like, okay, she's a teenager. She's 13, she's not 12. She's 14, she's not 12.
I think there is a difference. I think it's called hebophilia. Is that how it's spelled? Hebophilia refers to sexual interest, early puberty, adolescence. Typically ages 11 to 14. Okay, so no, it's exactly the same shit, whether she's 14 or 12 or whatever. Okay, never mind. I think they say pedophilia is like under 11. Hebophilia is like 11
Still
to
2
14.
years under the age.
I mean, who
of
gives a
maturity.
shit?
But is
Yeah,
there
who gives a
even a
shit?
difference?
Certainly
Like,
not,
There is a difference between 7 and 14.
okay, there is.
But I know what you mean. I know what
But
you
there
mean.
isn't
Neither's
really,
better than
like,
the other. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, looking at a 10-year-old and
Yeah, no, it's
a
not.
14-year-old, there isn't a huge amount of difference.
No,
Like,
neither's better. It's all bullshit.
worldly or mature enough to consent to anything. Right? Doesn't have the legal right to do it, never mind. Because why? Because they're very young, so they need to be protected.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why, if you thought I came down there to have sex, why didn't you wait and see if that happened?
What a
I don't want to
douchebag.
put that girl that was in the house through any kind of a horrible experience that can get really out of hand really quickly.
Okay, I get
And
you.
no offense.
I got you, but
There was like
I don't mean having
several
sex.
cops there and other able-bodied guys.
Right.
You'd be in probably some kind of pain at the end of it.
So his idea is, why don't you wait until I'm taking her panties off to eat her pussy? Like, that's when he thinks that the cops should come in. Like, why? Like,
so
why?
disgusting.
Why?
So
Why? Like, how
disgusting.
can you possibly make this argument? Like, he has no integrity, man. Like, he really lacks integrity.
He
It's
doesn't
crazy,
feel
man.
any remorse.
No,
he
man,
doesn't
it's
see that it's a
crazy.
problem. He only sees it as a problem if they caught him in her pants, then it would be a problem.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the whole conversation, the whole him coming there, none of that's a problem.
No, he
Like-
he thinks that none of that matters because
Because he didn't,
didn't do it,
physically do
actually. Yeah,
anything,
it's
right?
crazy.
Like,
meanwhile, like through deduction and reasoning, we all know exactly what he was gonna do. It's fucked. Like, can you believe that? Like, it's so
and
low.
he thinks
It's
he
so low.
thinks that is okay. Like to be in his mind and to be like, oh well, it's not a problem if I didn't do anything. Like I
Right.
didn't physically do anything to her, so it's not problematic. Like what? Like how does that even make sense? Or what has to go through an individual's mind to think that is okay?
You have to just be careless and selfish and not give a fuck. Also,
He probably had a shit marriage, and
warning,
now he's...
mineral water opening.
He probably went through such a shit period with his wife leaving him that he now has zero remorse. That's not to say that it's defending him, but that's just his mindset of like, oh, whatever. Like, you know, somebody
I
left
don't
me
think
before,
so.
and now I'm like...
I think he's always been like this. I think he's just been a piece of shit his whole life. And his marriage ended probably because he's a piece of shit. I mean, like, good people get into divorces. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying. It's just, like, for him specifically, the fact that he got divorced, like, in his early 30s and never figured it out after. Like, he doesn't have a girlfriend at this point. He hasn't had any long-term girlfriends. He says that he doesn't... When he's like, when's the last time you had a girlfriend? He's like, oh, I had a short one over summer. Like, he's never really dated. That means that he doesn't know how to have, like, relationships with people. You know what I mean? Like, I know that marriage isn't for everyone, but if he was married once, it means that he's probably into marriage. And if he's here with this girl saying, I have long-term aspirations, it means that he's probably into this shit, or, like, into love, but doesn't know how to find it because doesn't know how to have, like, interpersonal relationships. And that would lead me to believe that he was just like this his whole life. He was always just someone that was careless and like, sexually careless and sexually moralless, and always just did whatever the fuck he felt like in the moment without, like, considering wider repercussions.
See, I don't know
You don't think
about
so?
that, because in some cases, through experience, you learn to protect yourself, you learn to do different things. So maybe he wasn't like that at the beginning, but through his marriage and through different experiences, because, like, you don't know, like you don't know how his ex-wife was, like, if she was someone who was there for him, who they were able to have
Sure.
a bond with. Like, maybe they didn't have good experiences, and over time he lacked interest, and as a result he resorted to these things. Not to say that that's the right thing to do, but depending on your experiences, that's kind of
Maybe.
how it shapes who you are, and maybe it was that way. I don't know. Who's gonna know? I mean, like, we don't have a in-depth view of his life from before, so I don't know.
No.
You're right. I
No.
get your perspective, but then I'm also kind of like you don't know the experience that he had.
No, he might have been turned
You
evil,
know,
like an evil villain has a villain arc. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. It's
We
just
don't
like,
know.
just his demeanor and shit, like, just the way he's just disrespectful all the time. I just don't believe someone can become like that over time. Like, I think if you're just a genuine sack of shit, it's because you've never learned your lesson, and you've always kind of mistreated people and done, been selfish and done things your own way.
But
It's
then
just,
I also can't help but think of like the psychological perspective of, like, who knows how he grew up, who knows
but
the relationships
but
that
what
he
does
had
he
in
know
the
though?
past.
Like,
Like,
he clearly doesn't have any, like, he clearly doesn't have any learning experiences, because even when Hanson came out, he was eating pizza in front of him. You know what I mean? It's like, at
yeah,
the very least, like,
the
a
etiquette
person,
isn't there.
there's no etiquette at all. Like, even people that are, like, shitty in bad situations can kind of shape up. Like our boy fucking Mike Walker, man. Like, he was a piece of shit, and he was, like, a little bit fighting with Hanson and shit, but he even kind of gave in. He's like, when Hanson's like, oh, is this any way for a man your age to act? He's like, no, like, even he had some form of humbleness, you know what I mean? This guy had nothing, man. Like, at no
No,
point did he
you're
give
right.
in. He just
You're
fought
right.
back the whole time. Like, that makes me think that he has, like, and you're right. Maybe he was a good kid until his mid-20s, and then things went wrong for him and whatever. I just don't believe it. Like, I think he was always garbage. I think what you see here was him in high school and in university, and as a husband and as a, ex-husband. Like, I think he's always been this cunt, and that's why he's alone, and that's why he's on the sex registry, and that's why no one wants him. That's my personal take.
Possibly, honestly. I just always try and look at it through a different perspective.
I know, yeah, and to see what else
through
could
the field
happen.
of experience,
Of course,
through reading different things, through, talking with different people. So, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe he was always like that, but then maybe it's also like through experience, you're building things, you're trying to protect yourself.
That's right.
And this is the face that he portrays to the others, so he's protecting himself from those vulnerabilities.
And
Not to
that's very
say that I'm
likely true.
protecting him,
No one thinks that.
but I'm just saying, like, maybe he is the way that he is for a certain reason, and there always is a birthplace for things. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see through the interrogation, but
We'll get a little bit of a better feel for
yeah,
our guy here.
yeah,
Because if you got maybe your clothes up and you're trying to grab her, we come in not knowing what you're capable of.
I know.
We're not doing it like as much as we can as a gentleman. You're seated. Chris Hansen speaks to you. You're free to go. you know, you were compliant. We were, you know, didn't throw you on the ground or anything. We handcuffed you. We brought you in. You know, I mean, why would you want to take it to another level where it's horrible? And she has to go through that, what, several times because there's several different guys like yourself that are coming to meet her? Would you want to do that to anybody? Like, honestly.
No, I just,
Put her, even the hug. As soon as you got there, you're trying to hug a girl that you've never met.
well, it's not true.
You know. Well, maybe it is. I mean, I understand from your standpoint you probably want to, but from her standpoint you're a total stranger and she's probably a little freaked out by it. You know what I
She
mean?
was
So,
cool with everything and just wanted to hang out and, you know, have people.
I'll take Jeff Sokol's back on this. Like, after the whole chat log and shit, she was very friendly to him. So
Yeah.
I understand
It
why he
was
came in trying to
intriguing.
hug her. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Did you notice, by the way, last time we stopped, it was 22:59:00. Now it's 23. So it's been exactly 1 minute.
Good
But no, like,
observation.
like they're kind of
Jeffy.
like, you know, a lot of people make the shit. Like, I've seen other people do commentaries about the hugs and shit. Like, I'm not gonna get on Sokol's case about that. If you read the fucking chat log, she's really into him. So he showed up looking at someone that was really into him, you know, 2.5 hours ago on text. So that's why he wanted to go hug her. Like, they had a 2-week fucking conversation. Like, I get it, okay? I know that it's creepy because he's an older guy, but I get why he tried to hug her.
Yeah.
I honestly, that's why I was there. I just, my
you need to,
my case, okay, for this is obviously there's a lot of text there,
yeah.
but I was trying to do things or, you know, make it so I wasn't breaking the law. If I decided at some point that I wanted to, you know, have any relations with her, you know,
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is he saying there?
What D. Kelly's getting at is that he's a morally corrupt piece of shit. And he's like, yeah, but I was trying my best to be a morally corrupt piece of shit without breaking the law.
Okay, well, he was breaking the law regardless. So,
That's his fucking angle. It's brutal.
was trying to make sure that it was legal. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do anything.
Explain that a little bit.
Well, please explain because I don't understand what you're trying to say. So I'll give you a chance to explain yourself.
Yeah.
If I, you know, came down and I liked her, she liked me, and she was cool, and I didn't feel like she was, you know, too immature or too young or too, you know, the same. I felt like I was on the same, you know, level as her, like, you know, emotionally and whatnot. I mean, I wanted to, you know, I didn't want to do anything that was breaking the law. So that's why
But he already did.
Well, not to his knowledge.
Not to his knowledge.
He thought the penis entering vagina is where the law is
Is
broken.
the law broken? Okay.
researched that stuff. Well, never, I mean, that's like ridiculous that you guys thought that I would bring a contract down.
Well, we were going, I believe.
What a douchebag. That's ridiculous that you guys think I would do this. Like,
But he literally said he was going
no,
to.
he did. No, here's the thing.
And he did he not?
I don't think he actually brought one, but he just talked about it. But I'm saying, like, oh, it's ridiculous that, like, you would think this. Like, I would never assume of any person that they would try to molest a child. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you meet a guy and you're like, something's really off about this guy, but you would never think, like, this guy's probably a pedophile. In this case, too, he's like, it's crazy you guys would assume this. It's like, it's crazy to assume that you actually, like, it's crazy to believe that you actually did this. So,
Yeah.
like, why
Yeah.
is the marriage contract outside of the realm of possibility? Like,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you could do this, then you could try to get married as well. Like, what are you talking about, man?
Exactly.
Like,
Idiot.
nothing is off tables when you try to do something like this, man. Like,
Ridiculous that you guys thought that I would bring a contract down.
Well,
and so scummy. It's like, I can't believe you guys would think
I
this.
can't
Like,
believe you would think that I do that.
I want to hear this again.
Well, never, I mean, that's like ridiculous that you guys thought that I would bring a contract down.
It's ridiculous that you guys think that it will bring down a contract. It's ridiculous that the police thinks that the guy that tried to molest a child would also try to make her sign a marriage contract. Like, why? Like, let's say you're just walking down the street, okay, you're going to the grocery store, and someone just pulls you into a room and is like, do you have a marriage contract on you to go marry a 13-year-old girl? In that case, you'd be like, well, this is pretty ridiculous, you know, because I'm just going to the store. Because there's no context. With the context of
Right.
Sokol, it's fully not ridiculous. It's anti-diculous.
Anti-ridiculous.
It's anti-diculous that he would bring this because you're trying to have sex with her. So, like, how much further
Why
is
is that
marrying
so
her?
ridiculous? Exactly.
It's not
That's
any
like,
further. It's
very
exactly
far.
the same. Like,
Exactly.
fuck you, man.
Fuck
I
you,
we were
Jeff.
going, I believe, through your
You're
texting.
interpreting.
I don't
You're
know.
interpreting.
Exactly, D. Kelly. Like, I believe it because of what you wrote here.
Exactly.
Because you wrote you want to marry her,
Exactly.
I believe that you want to marry her.
Period.
Period. There's nothing else to it. If I get up and say I have to go take a shit in the washroom, do you believe that I have to go take a shit in the washroom?
Probably.
You should probably believe it, because why wouldn't you not believe it? Like,
You're interpreting it. But
Well, maybe we
Good,
are. I don't know.
good
I also see
connection.
that you're mentioning that a 44-year-old guy shouldn't be talking to a 13-year-old girl like this.
right.
exactly.
I
You shouldn't be
mean,
doing this anyways.
Logically.
So
Exactly.
why is it so much crazier
Why
to
is
believe
it
that?
crazier?
Yeah, it's not any
You're
crazier.
language, not mine.
Feel guilty about it, yeah.
You should feel
You,
good.
you think you might be on the
Because you are
same
guilty.
wavelength as her?
There's plenty of, young people listening.
I like this. I want to hear him say it. I don't know, something about the way he said that. You think you're on the same wavelength as her?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I don't know.
Guilty.
You're language, not mine.
Feel guilty about it, yeah.
And you think you might be on the same wavelength as her?
There's plenty of, young people listening to you that are very smart. Pretty.
It's a really good question because it's like, do you really think that you two can get along as two human beings?
Yeah.
And like, really,
Yeah.
really, how much can you possibly have in common
Have
with
in
this
common.
girl?
Exactly.
You have 30 years of experience on her.
Exactly.
30 years. And like, I don't know, if you're 30 and someone's 60, you might be able to relate because by 30 you got a lot of experience. But by 13,
life
you got
experience?
nothing.
Nothing.
You got
Nothing.
Sure.
13.
They're out there, yeah.
No, there might be, I don't know, there could be a couple out there, I think, either they could be mature, maybe they look like a little kid, or
Why is everything?
they look older, but they're very immature.
See, I
See, we hung out with my uncle this weekend, right? And his wife. And we
Yeah.
got along with him really well. And he's, what, I don't know, 25 years older than we are. Because we're older.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in our late 20s. And
Yeah,
we,
you have things in common.
and we have
Even if
something
we
in
don't
common
have
with
the
them.
same life experience, you can relate to them in
Yes.
some way.
Yes.
But what the fuck
Yes. Because
do
we're adults.
you know
Yes.
at 13, 14
We're
years
adults
old?
and they're adults.
Zero.
And we've both lived adult lives.
Exactly.
But she hasn't lived any life at all.
Exactly.
The reason these laws are in place, right? I mean, to protect people.
Right, I said that to her.
Which, meaning what? I'm still, you kind of expounded on it before, but you're like, oh, I want to do things, whether it's, so in case I did have feelings for her and I liked her, like it would be legal. I don't know what that means. She's still, let's just say 13, because you mentioned 13 right here. So how does that still make it legal?
I don't know, she said she was turning 14, but okay.
So annoying.
Why does
So
that
annoying.
make a difference?
So annoying.
Look
man.
at his little smirk here
Yeah,
too. Like you
yeah.
see this little like smirk.
This is
on
the
his
Splinter
face?
look again, right? This
Oh
is the
my
classic.
God, that's so triggering.
This isn't the Splinter I was referring. Well, actually, it's kind of half-half. So he's kind of giving this one again. This
Yeah, this little like, oh well, she said.
Look at this little Splinter smile. Splinter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles smile. Let's see if we can get one. Does this even exist? Like,
That's him. That is him. He's like, oh well.
this isn't the search I was expecting at all.
That's
just-
fairly accurate,
it is
I
fairly
guess,
accurate,
to
though,
what
yeah.
it looks like.
There, this one. This is the one that I said.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And this one.
Awful. Awful.
This except a little smile.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you, Jeff Splinter. Look, he thinks he got him. He's like, I got you.
He's like, oh yeah, like,
She's actually turning 14.
She's actually 14, not 13.
So it's
like,
just as illegal. Got you.
Fucking uppercut.
Got
this
you.
Bitch.
How does it make what legal?
You just said that. How would it make it okay if you're going to do things with her and she's 13?
Exactly, D. Kelly. How the fuck is it different? What is different?
There's zero difference.
What the fuck is different, man?
And you ultimately had relations with her, with intercourse. How does it make it legal?
It wouldn't unless her mom consented to marriage.
Ew. I can't believe he just said that. In confidence, I cannot believe he said that.
No.
That is literally making my whole body cringe as I'm hearing him say that.
That means
He is
that he's...
disgusting. He thinks this is normal. If
all
her
cool.
mom consented, that it would be okay.
Yeah, he thinks it's all cool.
Pure garbage.
He thinks it's all cool, man.
It's the only way it would be legal.
I wonder what D. Kelly is saying.
You're going to marry a 13-year-old girl with a mother's permission.
Oh my god, man.
Can we just rewatch that whole little sequence there?
And you ultimately had relations with her, with intercourse. How does it make it legal?
It wouldn't unless her mom consented to marriage. It's the only way it would be legal.
So you're gonna marry a 13-year-old girl with her mother's permission.
What the fuck? Literally. He's like, so that's okay then? Like, that's okay if your mom,
No.
if her mom said,
D.
like,
Kelly can't believe his fucking ears,
literally,
man.
he can't
And
believe
by the way,
words that are coming
this
out
guy's a
of his
detective
mouth,
in
like,
his 40s, which means that he's probably like seen a ton of
Oh,
dickheads.
yeah.
You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
Like
But
you know,
nowhere
Fairfield,
near.
Connecticut is probably not like
No.
a HubSpot of imbeciles,
No.
but like he's probably seen a bunch of dickheads with a bunch of excuses. But he's like, you're seriously saying this? Like, you're gonna marry her, and her mom is gonna sign the papers for you to marry
and say
her?
yes. Like, what the fuck, man?
What
What
in
the
the
actual
world are you
fuck
talking
are you
about,
talking
man?
about?
Maybe when she's 60, I would do that. Why is that like so hard to believe?
He's like, oh, but like,
Wow.
what's wrong with that though? Like, why is that so hard? Bro,
Are you
I want to
kidding me?
literally take him and strangle him and just,
Watch how this dickhead says it too.
Maybe when she's 60, I would do that. Why is that like so hard to believe?
and his hands too. Like, oh, but like, you know, why
It's
is
not-
that so hard to believe? Like,
It's not hard to believe. It's hard to believe that you think it's okay. You know?
yes.
It's like, I don't doubt that you actually want to marry her. That's not the problem. The problem is that you want to actually marry her. You know? Like, it's not me believing you. Like, I believe you're a scumbag. I believe you'll do anything.
Yeah. It's the
Wow.
fact that you're doing this and you're thinking that it's appropriate is what's hard to
What a
believe.
fucking jackass, man.
Is it hard to believe?
Yeah, that could happen.
I can't say I've even ever heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either.
Yeah,
He's
me
right. I've
neither.
never heard of this.
Me
This is
neither.
impossible. Like,
No
I
one
can't
in
believe
the
you're
right
trying to do
mind.
this.
No one in the right mind.
And the fact that he's saying it with such confidence and like
Yeah, just like
Verbato.
Like yeah, like, you know, it's normal. What do you mean? Like,
oh.
Actually, if I wanted to, like, maybe in other countries it happens.
Not
In
like
like
the law. That's what.
In other countries it
I'm
happens.
shaking my head right now. I'm shaking.
He's like,
my
in
head.
other countries it happens. He's like, listen, brother. What if we were, sitting in Kabul under the Taliban regime? Would this be wrong?
Yeah.
Would this be wrong?
Seriously?
It's like, listen, bro. It doesn't matter, man. You're in Connecticut, bro. You're not in Kabul, okay?
It does not matter, literally.
I don't even know if it's legal there. I'm just saying. You know?
Hypothetically.
I'm taking the far out example.
What do I have to do?
You marry her now.
Actually, let's find out. Huh? What if it is? Age of marriage, Kabul, Afghanistan. 16. So no, this isn't even legal under the Taliban. No, you can't even do this with the Taliban.
There you go.
So what he's saying, 18 for males, 16 for females. So he's like, in other countries it happens. Not even the Taliban allow this shit. Okay, so
That tells you something.
Like what a fucking cunt, man.
44, she's 13.
Yeah, I haven't broken the law. I mean, so that's the thing. It's all you're speculating what I was going to do based on conversations.
You also drove here. You didn't just like have chats, which were bad enough.
So what?
You actually drove 2 hours.
Yeah.
You're like basically my age. You drove
Yeah.
2 hours to meet a girl. Most guys,
Yeah, you're putting it all together, right? Most guys, boys.
most guys younger than us, our age, older than us, if given the opportunity, they might get in the car on a Saturday night and drive 2 hours if they think they're going to find, something that feels good at the end of the rainbow. But are they just going to do it? Maybe meet somebody?
Most guys.
Oh, that's such an annoying analogy by fucking D. Kelly here, but I like it. Something that feels good at the end of the rainbow. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
But all right, let's and fucking Dick United here came back with the Mo's guys. So you think I'm Mo's guys? You're fucking worse than most guys, man.
Literally.
It feels good at the end of the rainbow, but are they just going to do it? Maybe meet somebody?
Most guys?
You're saying most guys.
Most
so it's
guys?
like-
You're driving from Boston.
Most guys? Like not me, because I'm not everybody? Is that what you're saying, bro?
You're worse than everybody.
Something that feels good at the end of the rainbow, but are they just going to do it? Maybe meet
Okay.
somebody?
Most guys.
Most
You're
guys?
saying most guys. So it's like
You're driving from Boston.
you're saying most guys.
Right.
That's not me.
Who are you? You tell me who you are.
Who are you then if you're not most guys? Like,
Who the fuck are you, bro?
Guys.
Right.
That's not me.
Who are you? You tell me who you are. Because based on the text and the behavior you exhibited, I'd say you fit right in there.
Yeah.
You just happen to like them much younger than what's normal.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or illegal.
Maybe I enjoy just talking about it. I don't know.
With a 12 or 13-year-old girl.
talking about it. Talking about it. Yeah.
Also, if you enjoy talking, why did you have to come?
Yeah.
Why did you have to come?
Exactly.
Can't you
Why
FaceTime her?
didn't you? Exactly.
Call her on the phone and talk for 2 hours, bro.
Exactly.
2.5 hour drive to talk? Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on.
That's a problem. I don't know you. I never saw you before in my life. That's a major league problem.
Didn't seem like it. Didn't seem like a lot. Just seemed.
We just drove 2.5 hours this week and see my family. You know, that's how far this fucker drove
Yeah.
alone in his
Yeah.
car at
Yeah.
night to see this girl. That puts it in perspective, man. That's a long drive.
So
Major
problematic.
league problem.
Didn't seem like it.
And I like that too. It's very American here. What he says, it's a major league problem.
Saw you before in my life. That's a major league problem.
It's so American.
Didn't seem like a lot. Just seemed more mature than that. More than
Compared to what? Like a 28-year-old woman, like a 22-year-old girl? You're talking about a 12 or 13-year-old girl. And she's acting like she's 18? Yeah, so what? She's
What the fuck? What the fuck is his issue, bro?
Yeah.
still tells you she's 13 years old. You're 44.
You're 44. You are 44.
I mean, seriously, that's a major league problem.
I really like that expression.
Yeah.
That's a major league problem.
Yeah.
According to the law, it is.
But according to what you, it's not.
In my head.
In your head,
Knowing what I was there for. Knowing that it was not dangerous. That it was not a threat to her. That I was not planning on having sex.
So he's resorting to that fucking bullshit excuse. You aren't in my head. You don't know my exact thoughts. Therefore, you have no deductive responsibilities.
Yeah. You
Like,
don't
it's
know
so
what I was
fucking annoying.
intending to
It's so
do.
annoying, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, yo, you know when like when you're out somewhere, someone just seems really suspicious.
Yeah.
What do? You don't just like pretend like they're everyone else. You kind of like
Yeah.
get away from them, you know. You
Yeah.
kind of like make your distance. Or like when you're at a club and someone's like starting shit with people. It's like he could say, well, just because I'm yelling and pushing people around doesn't mean I actually want to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but if
But
you're
you
fucking
can sense certain things.
yeah, if
and
you're
you can
yelling at
see,
me and
yeah.
breaking beer bottles off the floor, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
fucking move away from you because I'm assuming you're gonna punch me in the face at some point. You know what it's like?
Yeah,
Why would I
exactly.
fucking risk it? Like,
not planning on having sex. What if you just happen to meet a girl that is like You know what? For whatever reason, she's only 12 or 13, but man, she's a pistol, and she's a...
She's a pistol. So they're getting into something here that I think will take some time. I think we got to cut this off and split it into a few parts. What do you think, Chachi?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's better for the viewers as well because, like we said earlier, we know that the attention span is so long. So we want to make it intriguing.
Yeah.
We know
We
that
don't want
it's
anyone to get
long.
bored.
Exactly. We don't want to go too far into it and make it a little
So I like
too
what he's
long,
saying here.
so-
What if you met a girl that was 12 or 13 and she was a pistol? Like, I get what he's... I think I know what he's going to try to get into. Like, what if this chick's hot and you wanna have sex with her? What are you going to... So... No, don't hit me. Don't hit me.
Don't say that. God.
So let's
Pause
let's
it
wrap it
there.
up here,
Yeah.
and we'll start again tomorrow, and
We'll start with part 2.
we'll break the shit up into a few parts.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for joining us,
Yeah, thank you guys.
and fuck you, Jeff. Fuck you forever, man.
Fuck you, Jeff Sokol, you piece of shit. You inconsiderate piece of trash. We will continue delving further. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing, liking our channel and our videos, and just keeping in tune with us because we appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're still new at this.
We're having a lot of fun, and we appreciate like every single comment we get.
Yeah,
We read it together.
we do.
We smile,
We do.
man. Like it's great. Thank you,
It
everybody.
is. We like to dip our
You've been
toes
great.
in, and we appreciate you following with us and
You
moving
wouldn't
along.
You wouldn't want Chachi's fucking stinky toes anywhere near you, man.
Don't say that.
She is
They're
rancid.
not
man.
that bad. Don't say that.
Okay.
All right, stay tuned for more. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.